I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We continue once again in the Doctrine and Covenants. We are now going to finish out section 104. Now, just prior to this, we read in section 102 the formation of the first High Council in this dispensation. We even talked about the first hearing that was had before this council. Then we read section 103, which was God's command to raise up what would become Zion's camp. Redeem the land of Zion through power. Raise up or gather together the strength of the Lord's house. And they all went out to gather volunteers and money for the redemption of Zion, because the people in Missouri are still refugees in Clay County, having been driven out of Jackson and Van Buren. Now we are reading section 104, which is talking about the dissolving of the United Order, because there is too much land speculation, too many people not living according to the laws of the United Order. In our last reading, they were chastised. And we're going to now separate the wicked from the righteous. Those who are in violation of the law and those who are striving to live it. And we had a big long list of who gets what land as we dissolve the United Order. We are going to continue reading now in section 104, beginning in verse 47, and read to the end. And now a commandment I give unto you concerning Zion, that you shall no longer be bound as a united order to your brethren of Zion, only on this wise. After you are organized, you shall be called the United Order of the Stake of Zion, the city of Kirtland. And your brethren, after they are organized, shall be called the United Order of the city of Zion. And they shall be organized in their own names, and in their own name. And they shall do their business in their own name, and in their own names. And you shall do your business in your own name, and in your own names. And this I have commanded to be done for your salvation, and also for their salvation, in consequence of their being driven out, and that which is to come. The covenants being broken through transgression by covetousness and feigned words. Therefore you are dissolved as a united order with your brethren, that you are not bound, only up to this hour unto them, only on this wise, as I said, by loan, as shall be agreed by this order in council, as your circumstances will admit, and the voice of the council direct. And again, a commandment I give unto you concerning your stewardship, which I have appointed unto you. Behold, all these properties are mine, or else your faith is vain. And ye are found hypocrites, and the covenants which ye have made unto me are broken. And if the properties are mine, then ye are stewards. Otherwise ye are no stewards. But verily I say unto you, I have appointed unto you to be stewards over mine house, even stewards indeed. And for this purpose I have commanded you to organize yourselves, even to print my words, the fullness of my scriptures, the revelations which I have given unto you, and which I shall hereafter from time to time give unto you, for the purpose of building up my church and kingdom on the earth, and to prepare my people for the time when I shall dwell with them, which is nigh at hand. And ye shall prepare for yourselves a place for a treasury, and consecrate it unto my name. And ye shall appoint one among you to keep the treasury, and he shall be ordained unto this blessing. And there shall be a seal upon the treasury, and all the sacred things that shall be delivered into the treasury, and no man among you shall call it his own, or any part of it, for it shall belong to you all with one accord. And I give it unto you from this very hour. And now see to it that ye go to and make use of the stewardship which I have appointed unto you, exclusive of the sacred things, for the purpose of printing these sacred things, as I have said. And the avails of the sacred things shall be had in the treasury, and a seal shall be upon it, and it shall not be used or taken out of the treasury by any one, neither shall the seal be loosed which shall be placed upon it, only by the voice of the order, or by commandment. And thus shall ye preserve the avails of the sacred things in the treasury, for sacred and holy purposes. And this shall be called the sacred treasury of the Lord, and a seal shall be kept upon it, that it may be holy and consecrated unto the Lord. Now remember, when the United Order was first created, first organized, the brethren in Kirtland and the brethren in Zion were part of the same order. That's why we had the mercantile establishment in Kirtland was the Whitney Gilbert, and in Zion it was the Gilbert Whitney, but they were just two branches of the same business, the same mercantile establishment. It was just two different branches because the United Order was united between Kirtland and Zion. Now, we dissolved the organization in Kirtland. We're going to reorganize it as a separate United Order to the one in Zion. And the only dealings we will have between the two is on loan. We can loan them money, but they have no claim to the money in Kirtland, and Kirtland has no claim to the money in Zion. Then we get this description of the properties in the storehouse, or the sacred treasury for building. You've got to print the scriptures, which is talking about the translation of the Bible, I believe. The sacred treasuries, those are the stuff that is given to the church, is put into this treasury, and a seal is put upon it. Meaning it's like you get a treasure chest, you put all the money in it, and you lock it. And it is not unlocked except by the voice of the order. When the order says, yes, we need to pull some stuff out, then we take it out. Or if God commands you to, you take it out. But this is a very interesting setup. And this would indicate that the use of a seal is to say it's not just locked, but it would be like you lock it and then you put like a wax seal over the lock. And so if it is opened, you know that it has been opened because the seal is broken. The seal doesn't necessarily prevent it from being opened, but it reveals that it was opened. And so whenever they go to open it, they remove the seal, they get what they need out of it, and then they have to re-seal it. Not just lock it, but seal it so that if it is opened, it is known. And in this way, nobody can take from the treasury without it being known. But now, let us finish out this chapter, picking it up in 67. And again there shall be another treasury prepared, and a treasurer appointed to keep the treasury, and a seal shall be placed upon it. And all monies that you receive in your stewardships, by improving upon the properties which I have appointed unto you in houses, or in lands, or in cattle, or in all things, save it be the holy and sacred writings, which I have reserved unto myself for holy and sacred purposes, shall be cast into the treasury as fast as you receive monies, by hundreds, or by fifties, or by twenties, or by tens, or by fives. Or in other words, if any man among you obtain $5, let him cast them into the treasury. Or if he obtain 10, or 20, or 50, or 100, let him do likewise. And let not any among you say that it is his own, for it shall not be called his, nor any part of it. And there shall not any part of it be used or taken out of the treasury, only by the voice and common consent of the order. And this shall be the voice and common consent of the order, that any man among you say to the treasurer, I have need of this to help me in my stewardship. If it be $5, or if it be $10, or 20, or 50, or 100, the treasurer shall give unto him the sum which he requires to help him in his stewardship, until he be found a transgressor, and it is manifest before the council of the order plainly that he is an unfaithful and an unwise steward. But so long as he is in full fellowship, and is faithful and wise in his stewardship, this shall be his token unto the treasurer, that the treasurer shall not withhold. But in case of transgression, the treasurer shall be subject unto the council and the voice of the order. And in case the treasurer is found an unfaithful and an unwise steward, he shall be subject to the council and the voice of the order, and shall be removed out of his place, and another shall be appointed in his stead. And again, verily I say unto you, concerning your debts, behold, it is my will that you shall pay all your debts, and it is my will that you shall humble yourselves before me, and obtain this blessing by your diligence and humility and the prayer of faith. And inasmuch as you are diligent and humble, and exercise the prayer of faith, behold, I will soften the hearts of those to whom you are in debt, until I shall send means unto you for your deliverance. Therefore write speedily to New York, and write according to that which shall be dictated by my Spirit, and I will soften the hearts of those to whom you are in debt, that it shall be taken away out of their minds to bring affliction upon you. And inasmuch as ye are humble and faithful, and call upon my name, behold, I will give you the victory. I give unto you a promise, that you shall be delivered this once out of your bondage, inasmuch as you obtain a chance to loan money by hundreds or thousands, even until you shall loan enough to deliver yourself from bondage. It is your privilege. And pledge the properties which I have put into your hands this once, by giving your names by common consent, or otherwise as it shall seem good unto you. I give unto you this privilege this once, and behold, if you proceed to do the things which I have laid before you according to my commandments, all these things are mine, and ye are my stewards, and the master will not suffer his house to be broken up. Even so, amen. Now, we got a second treasury here. So the first treasury is for the sacred things, what we might call today the tithing fund. The tithing is to be used for sacred things, for the building of buildings, the printing of the scriptures, those kind of things. That's what the tithing is for, and for building temples. And at this time, the funds for the sacred things are first made by the profits of selling you print the scriptures, you sell it, profits made in that are added to the sacred funds. The second treasury is kind of the general treasury of the order, and everybody who makes a profit on their land, they're supposed to improve their stewardship. So they keep doing, you keep the money or you keep the means of maintaining your stewardship and providing for your family. Anything extra you put into the treasury. And as long as you are a member in good standing, you go to the treasury and you say, look, I need a little extra so that I can make this improvement on my stewardship. And the treasurer gives it to you, as long as you are in good standing. If you are not in good standing, then you have no claim on the treasury. And being good standing in this case doesn't just mean a member of the church. If you're excommunicated, yes, you're not in good standing, but you're also not in good standing if there is evidence that you have not been wise in your stewardship. So if you're a farmer and you don't actually tend your farm very well and you're kind of lazy and slothful and your crops don't do well because of your own inaction, then you can be brought before the council of the order and declared an unwise steward, and then you would not have claim on the treasury because you have not improved your stewardship. You have not taken care of the stewardship as you have been commanded. So you're not being kicked out of the church, you're not being excommunicated. For the purpose of the united order, you are not in good standing with the order and therefore have no claim on the treasury. God also here gives the command to pay off all debts. We are not to live in bondage, which means we are not to not be living in debt. And I'm not great at this myself. I do have some debts that I have not yet paid. But if we live righteously, God will make it possible to pay the debts. And that's what the debts of the church. The church actually was in debt pretty good for a number of years in Kirtland. They went into debt to buy the farmland, which they then were going to build the temple and everything on, and they are still in debt. There's actually, I think it was Joseph Smith was trying to collect a $2,000 from the members, saying, look, if we all chip in, we can pay off the church's debt for the land in Kirtland, which was about $2,000 at this time. And there are other times in the church's history that they have been in debt, and the members have been called on to pay their tithing, to obey the commandments of God, because if we obey the commandments of God, then the church will have financial freedom. And we have achieved that as a church, not individually, but as a church. We achieved financial freedom in the early 1900s, and even during the Great Depression, I don't think the church needed to go into debt, and we have been blessed for our faithfulness in this. This is the beginning of that blessing here. This is actually this is where we get a kind of transition from the full consecration in the law and the united order, and we have only a partial consecration at this time, a partial united order that is moving into what we have today as the law of tithing. Anyways, we're going to leave this here. We pick it up in section 105 next, so I will see you there.